Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our lesson today, where we are going to look at the Department of Higher Education paper, which is Mathematics in M3, which was written in April 2019. The paper is a 3-hour paper. Just to go about a quick notice or a quick information on the instructions. Remember, you need to answer all the questions. You need to read all the questions carefully. Number the answers according to the numbering system that is used in the paper. Questions may be answered in any order, but keep the subsections together. So in other ways, whenever you start with question number 3, you are allowed to start with question number 3. However, you need to keep the subsections of question number 3 together. Show all calculations and intermediate steps. Do all graph work in the answer book. No graph paper is provided in M3. Accurately approximate all final answers rounded off to 3 decimal places. This is very important. If they do not tell you how to round off your answer, you must leave it to 3 decimal places as a default. Diagrams are not drawn to scale. And lastly, it says you must write neatly and legible. So you need to be very neat with your work. Now let us start by looking at the first question. The first question that we're given is to say, question number 1 of the paper. It says, determine the value of A if f of x, which is given there, is divided by x minus 2 and it leaves a remainder of 23. So now what you are given here is you are given f of x. If I can have my f of x written there, you are given that f of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 5. That's what you're given here. And then also you are given that it is divided by x minus 2. And if I can have my x minus 2 separately, it is divided by x minus 2. So whenever they say it's divided, what you need to do is to equate that to 0 and you solve for x. Therefore, x is equal to 2. The negative will change to become a positive so that it becomes a 2. So now, in other ways, when we are saying f of x is divided by x minus 2, in the long division way, you are supposed to then have, you are supposed to write it like this, where you have got x minus 2 dividing x cubed plus ax squared minus x plus 5. That is actually what you are having, but that's not how you are going to be solving that. They are saying f of x is divided by x minus 2. So what we are going to do is we are going to take our 2 that we got in here and substitute it in x. So you are going to find f of 2 is equal to 2 cubed, remember to put brackets, plus 2 squared minus 2 plus 5. That's what we're given. Now, if you can use your calculator, 2 cubed is equal to 8 plus 2 squared is equal to 4a minus 2 plus 5, which is equal to, now if I can use the calculator, what I'm given is you are having 8 minus 2 plus 5. You are getting 11. This is as 11 plus 4a. So that's what you're given, 11 plus 4a. So now this is my what? F of 2. But now, that's not the end. They told you that it gives a remainder of 23. So what you're going to have now, you're going to say f of 2. If we put where x, in the value of x, if we put a 2, we are going to get a remainder of 23. Now, which means 11 plus 4a, 11 plus 4a will then become a 23. Now we have to solve for a, and then 4a is 23 minus 11. I can divide my space there. In other words, 4a is equal to, if you subtract 23 minus 11, you are going to get a 12. Use your calculator. Divide by 4, then my a is equal to a 3. So in other ways, if we are to have a in our value here, if we are to have our a as 3, and you can prove it quickly, now your f of x will be equal to x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 5. So now if we are to put f of 2 as we did, you are going to have 2 cubed plus 3, 2 squared minus 2 plus 5. If I'm to use a calculator for that, now I have got 2 cubed plus 3, 2 squared minus 2 plus 5. I'm getting my 23. Remember, they told us that the remainder is 23. So I'm getting that particular 23, which means it is correct. So that was the answer. Let's move on to the next question. In question 1.2 that we're given, it says simplify each of the following. So we are given the first 1.2.1. That's what we're going to be working on. It says we must simplify what we're given above. If I can expand it a bit. Now, if I'm to simplify what I'm given here, you can see that the y is multiplying the x plus y squared plus y in here. So we are supposed to expand that bracket. If we are to expand that bracket, if I take it back, so what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have y x plus y squared plus y plus x. I'm focusing on that particular numerator. That's what I'm looking at. So just looking at that numerator on its own, then it will become, I must be careful there, it will become, if you expand that, and you expand that, and you expand that, so you're going to have yx plus y to the power of 3 plus y to the power of 2 plus x. Now if you group them again, I can group them according to the y and the x. I've got y plus x, this is regrouping, plus y cubed plus y squared. Now if I can take the first x factorize, this is factorizing by grouping. In the first one I've got y plus 1, y plus 1, and then in the second one I've got y squared as the common factor, which is y plus 1. So now after factorizing, I've got y plus 1 and x plus y. So this is the first simplified version of this particular part. I've got the first simplified version. Now if I'm to simplify that particular numerator, I can use a different pen. What I'm going to have is is I'm given that 4y squared minus 3yx minus 7x squared. Now if I'm to simplify that, now this one uses the concept of the product sum method. I will encourage you to go through the lesson that I did on the product sum method. So you are going to have 4y squared plus 4yx minus 7yx minus 7x squared. Just as a quick recap on that product sum, if you look carefully at plus 4y minus 7yx, it is that negative 3yx. So the factors of that I'm getting is 4yx and minus 7yx. As I said, I will encourage you to go through the product sum method. That there is quite a good lesson that I did on the product sum method. If you can do that lesson, it will be very easy for you to simplify this. So now let us look now at what we are having in the first two. If you have to look in the first two what is common, and also in the last two what's common, we are also looking at factorizing by grouping as we did in the previous one. So 4y is the common factor. I have got y plus x, and then I take my negative 7x as the common factor. I have got my y plus x. So in other ways, I have got my y plus x, which is in bracket, and outside the brackets, I have got my 4y minus 7x. So that is the second part that I've just done. And then now, if you want to check anything that we can simplify, yes, we can simplify the last part. If you look at this part at the bottom, we can simplify that y squared minus x squared, if I can use my white pen. Y squared minus x squared, this becomes, remember this is a difference of two squares, it becomes y minus x as well as y plus x. So we have kind of simplified everything that needs to be simplified when it comes to this particular problem. So we have done all we have done with the first one, we've done the second one, and we also did the difference of two squares. Y plus 1 cannot be simplified further. 4y minus 7x cannot be simplified. X plus y squared cannot be simplified. So what it means now we can put all this together. So when we're having the y, the first one, so we simplified, we saw that the first one can be simplified into y plus 1 and x plus y all over y plus 1. Now when we're going to use a division, what you must remember is you can change the division sign. This division sign can change into a multiplication sign. So when you change the division sign into a multiplication sign, the denominator, which is y squared minus x squared, will go to the top, and the numerator will go to the bottom. So remember, this is our denominator now, it is going to the top, and I'm going to use a multiplication sign. So when I take a multiplication sign, I'm having the y minus x on top and the y plus x on top. Don't forget that. And then divided by what was the numerator now becomes the denominator, which is this part, divided by y plus x, and 4y minus 7x, and multiplied by the last part, which is 4y minus 7x all over x plus y squared. Something that I think I made an error here, if I can correct that. Let's look again at this part. I think what is outside the bracket, check carefully. What is inside the bracket? we have got y plus 1, which we did, and then we've got x plus y squared. I just wrote x plus y, so that must be x plus y squared. So please correct that, or you already maybe captured that was an error. So it's x plus y squared. I'm looking at that and I'm picturing that it actually is supposed to be x plus y squared, as we have a squared there. Alright, so now let us simplify what we're given. Now we are able to cancel, or we are able to cancel out what needs to be cancelled out. Now with the first one, we've got y plus 1, it can go, and then we've got y plus x with the y plus x, and then we have the y minus x, if I can check, we corrected this part here, so which means we also need to come and correct it here. It was x plus y squared, so we need to correct it up here. So after correcting, it will cancel with x plus y squared, cancelling with x plus y squared, and then the 4y minus 7x will cancel with the 4y minus 7x. So actually the answer that is remaining, if you can check carefully, you are remaining with only y minus x. So if you can now write your final answer, this simplifies to equal to, so this simplifies to y minus x. So this is the final answer to this particular question, and if I'm not mistaken, this question was worth 7 marks. So just think of it, these are 7 marks that you cannot afford to lose. So with the 7 marks, you need to be careful that you're working, you avoid the errors like we almost did here with the y squared, which is also y squared, which had to do with that part. So it is very important for you to avoid as much errors as possible, and this will be your answer. Usually there is a way I prove my answer just to make sure that my answer is correct. From what I have, for me to be sure that I got my answer as y minus x correct, I can prove, what I usually do is I go back to the original. So when I go back to the original, I can say let, for example, let my y be equal to 2, and I can let my x be equal to 5. So now what I'm going to do, I'll take my calculator. When I'm taking my calculator, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to punch, or I'm going to enter where there is y, I'm going to put a 2, and where there is x, I'm going to put a 5. So let us start by that. I've got my y, which is a 2, into 5 plus 2 squared plus 2, close that bracket, plus, remember my x is 5, all over 2 plus 1, and then divided by, again a bracket, a fraction, 4 into, remember my y is 2 squared, minus, is 4 into 2 squared, close the bracket, minus 3 into, my y is a 2, and my x is a 5, as you can see that, minus 7 into, my x is a 5 squared, and then divided by 2 squared minus 5 squared, you play forward, and then times, again in a fraction, 4 into y, y is 2, minus 7, x is 5, all over x, which is 5, plus my y is 2 squared. Now when you do that, you can see that I'm getting my y is equal to, my final answer is equal to minus 3. So when I do that, you see what I'm getting is, I'm getting my final answer as a negative 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back again to my final answer here. Remember, we said my y was a 2, so I can say 2 minus my x is a 5 minus 5, I get minus 3. So when I'm getting similar answers, it means my answer is correct. So that is a way that I use to prove that I did not make an error in the way I was simplifying my answer. Next question, 6.2. It says, calculate the value or values of theta, which will satisfy the equation between theta is 0 and 270 degrees, and you are given that. Now if they say value or values, if you find one, it's fine, but there is a chance that there is more than one value of theta, and you are given the range is, the range, it's the range that they've given you is 0 to 270. The actual weight is the domain. Alright, now if we were to solve that, we are given 3, 10, theta plus 10 degrees is equal to 3. Now the first thing you have to do is you have to divide by 3 on both sides so that you can cancel that particular 3 to get a 1. So, I think I'm doing that wrong. If I can undo that, we are given that as a root 3. So you divide by root 3 both sides. So if you cancel that, now we have got 10 theta, 10 degrees is equal to 3 over square root of 3, right? The next thing that you have now is to say theta plus 10 degrees is equal to arc10, so that you can get an angle, arc10 3 over root 3. Now theta plus 10 degrees is equal to, if now I can use the calculator, so what I have here is shift, remember you press, cancel, press shift, arc10, and we've got 3 over root 3, and we get 60 degrees. So I've got theta is equal to, it's 60 degrees. Now when you're doing that, remember, let me bring in something to remember. Remember, 10 is positive in the first quadrant and in the third quadrant. Now you have to take it or revise the trigonometry lesson. So 10 is positive here and 10 is positive here. And in this third quadrant, it is 180 plus theta. So which means the first answer is that part, and the second one is theta plus 10 degrees is equal to 180 degrees plus 60 degrees. Okay, then you have to now solve for theta. In the first one, it's simpler. We can maintain my pen. In the first one is simpler. Theta is equal to 60 minus 10, which is equal to 50 degrees. And then in the second one, theta is equal to 180 plus 60 minus 10. Now theta is more like 180 minus 50. 180 plus 50, which is equal to 230 degrees. So you've got two values of theta. That's why they say value. If you didn't know, you're going to only come with this value, which is only in the positive quadrant, but we have a value in the third quadrant that gives us two values of theta. And they say, why did I go for the third quadrant? Because they say between 0 and 270. And you know, this is 0, this is 90, this is 180, and this is 270. So the only area that you mustn't concern yourself with is that, and 10 is positive in these other two quadrants. The next one, and I think if not the last one, because we have a total of 100, so this was the last paper, this was the last question of the paper. It says figure E below represents the graphs of f of x. We are given the graphs of f of x there and g of x there, where x is between 0 and pi. Now remember, also not to confuse yourself, the moment they say pi is equivalent to 180 degrees. It says determine the values of a and b. Now it's just 2 marks. They want us to find the values of a and b. The one that is easier always to find in this case is b is the amplitude. So in this case, we look at the highest value. So we go to g of x, and we've got pi and 1. So you know that this is the pi, and the other side, it is the 1. So in other ways, b is equal to 1. That's the amplitude, the highest point of the graph. So then the next one is find a. So if we have to find a, and it's we are given f of x is equal to cos ax. One thing you can simply do, because you're dealing with f of x, there is a point here, and that point, as you already see, when x is 0, y is 1. That's f of x. And you can take that point there and say what is happening is 1 is equal to cos 0x. That's the first try, but this one is not gonna give you anything because cos 1 is equal to cos 0x. Alright, try another point. The point that they gave us again, we have got that point. And this point, when x here is half pi, y is 0. So we can say f of x is equal to cos ax. Now remember, as I said, this is your x and this is your y, your f of x. So here you have got 0 is equal to cos a, and your x there, remember, is pi over 2. So now the next thing that you need to do there is to find pi over 2. You say a pi over 2 is equal to arc cos 0. And arc cos 0, if you take a calculator, shift arc cos 0 is equal to 90 degrees. So here you have got a is equal to, remember pi I told you is, not equal to, I told you pi is same as 180. So you've got a 180 over 2 is equal to 90. Now if you can simplify that, what is 180 divided by 2 is 90. So you have got 90a is equal to 90. You divide by 90, you divide by 90. So you've got now your a is equal to 1. So in this case, BA is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1 are the answers to this particular question. Now, as you have seen, this paper has a total of 100. So this is the end of this particular question. And it also means it's the end of the paper that was written in April 2019. It wasn't a difficult paper. It needed you to go thoroughly through your notes. So if you can purchase our book, Mathematics N3 for the Underdogs, together with the DVDs, you are going to be able to ace this paper and get your distinction. We have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you.